Hello boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is Defub21 and lo and behold we have another new trailer. This time it is a trailer for Total War Warhammer, which is a real-time strategy game based on the Total War franchise, but based on the Warhammer series of board strategy games. It's being made by Creative Assembly, which is owned and by the publisher known as Sega. This should be, again, if you looked at my previous videos, I'm very, very interested in this game. I'm quite hyped for it, and apparently this trailer includes new information. Apparently even the release date is in here, so I thought this is, I thought we might be getting that information around now, or maybe in the next 2 or 3 months, because I imagine this must be coming out early next year, taking into account how well developed the game looked when we first started seeing in-game footage, or in-engine / in-game footage. So without further ado, we'll take a look, and then I'll let you know what I think afterwards. For the moment, toodaloo.
To the ordinary, we are unknowable. Fallen, corrupted, rightly feared. You cannot understand our origins, our motives. The dawning realization that we are not fallen. We are ascended.
For those who may have forgotten, this is Defub21, and that was a short but sweet trailer. I think it's actually still over a minute long, so it's not actually that short by some trailer standards, but it's all in engine, 60 frames a second, looks good. We did get the release date, 28th of April, so if around the kind of time frame that I guessed and estimated in one or two previous videos or one or two previous trailer videos I've done for this game. In other words, first half of next year, somewhere first 3 or 4 months of next year, because the game just looks so far along by the time we started seeing in-game footage. I just couldn't believe that it couldn't possibly be second half of 2016 game. So it looks good. The one issue there is that it's a trailer for Chaos, which is fine. I mean, I already knew this going in because I'd read it elsewhere, but apparently the Chaos faction, they are playable in the game, but they're DLC. Now, they're DLC you get if you pre-order the game, but for me personally, that's kind of, particularly for a strategy game. Now, I know there are a number of factions in this. You can play as the humans, you can play as the dwarves. I think they're called, elves, or are called elves. They're Eldar in Warhammer 40k, but I believe in Warhammer they're called elves. Maybe you can play as them too. But the fact that, I mean, maybe yes, maybe the orcs and the Skaven are also playable factions. Maybe, I don't know, one way or the other. We'll have to wait to find out. But the idea that you might have at launch DLC, where of the launch of a game as DLC, a playable faction, is to me a bit kind of, iffy. I mean, to put it in comparison with Company Heroes, you started off with two factions in Company Heroes 2, the Russians and the Wehrmacht, and then later on they released standalone expansions that included the Americans, another German faction, the Oberkommando West, and now they've released a third expansion which is just around the Brits, and those are all standalone, and and they're coming out sometime after the initial release of the game. But the fact that if you don't pre-order this before it comes out, that you'll have to pay extra money to get access to a faction who are available from day one, to me is a bit iffy. Well, it's not just a bit iffy, it's kind of iffy in the extreme. I'm not absolutely raging over it. I mean, it depends. We'll have to see if there's only one faction that you get with the game that you can play in the single player campaign, and that's the humans. And assuming that this DLC is also to allow you to play as Chaos in the single player campaign, if there's only one playable faction from day one that you get when you buy the game, and then you have to pay extra for the other factions, that would be very, very annoying, to put it bluntly. And I would be, aghast / horrified by such actions. But we'll have to wait and see. But it's a bit iffy for a playable faction to be available day one as DLC. And it's one thing, it's one thing with Company Heroes. The DLC included two factions. It was a standalone expansion. You did not have to own the original game to play it, and it was actually pretty reasonably priced when the Western Front Armies pack came out, if memory serves me correctly. And I think there was some single player content as well. So this is what's the term to use? It's a good trailer, nice frame rate, nice in game animations and assets, and Chaos do look cool. But the fact that it's day one DLC, and you can buy an extra faction you can play, at least in the multiplayer, probably in single player too, from day one, so the content could have been included with the game from day one in the first place, is a bit much. I mean, if it's a case of where you can play as the humans, the orcs, the dwarves, maybe the elves as well, maybe okay. But if it's only one playable faction inside the game itself, you have to pay more money to get an extra one. That's a bit, not a bit, that is pretty shite. And it's a trend that could be going on. I mean, who knows about? There's rumors about microtransactions in Halo 5, which is at the time recording out early next week. It's depending who you talk to, it's a slippery slope. Either way, good trailer overall. Bit iffy about the DLC stuff, and the release date is kind of what I expected, considering the level of polish that we've seen in the in-game stuff in trailers so far. So for the time being, this is Defub21. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. I'll leave a link in the video, and like this video as well, and please await more wonderful content from yours truly. So toodaloo.